Welcome to That Smith Fam. I am Rodney Smith, aka Heavy Hooks. And in this video, you're gonna see me picking up my kids in Atlanta. Then we come back home and you're gonna see me in our house having a conversation about capitalism, because I want my children to understand the impact capitalism has had on the world and our society. And I'm not saying these things to them because I think that knowledge about capitalism will turn into material wealth, or that I have the ability to teach capitalism in a way that will make someone rich or better off. No, I want my children and the students that I teach, because I am a school teacher, to understand what capitalism historically has done to people and what it's doing to people currently. And capitalism does not allow the majority of people in the world to experience life to the fullest and live in a way that maximizes their talents and strengths. Instead, it only helps a small percentage of the population. And I want to highlight this in hopes that my students that I teach and my children and people around me study history and politics and economics and capitalism in an attempt to improve our society and create a society that does not exist now. Because the one that exists now, like I said, does not produce great results for the majority of people in it. So that's why I'm talking to my kids in the way that I am, in hopes that other people do the same, so that we can start to imagine a world that doesn't exist and then start to create that world that does not exist right now. Enjoy that, Smith fam. All right, welcome to the Unstudied Life. It's Heavy Podcast. I am your host, Heavy Hooks, aka Rodney Smith, and I went and got my kids from Atlanta. So I just want y'all to hear how I talk to them. We're talking about education. Let's see if y'all remember. So that some of these questions they have not been. I haven't prompted them on what to say, but I want to see if they remember anything. Do y'all remember what I told you the purpose of education is? No? Well, what do you think then? We've talked about this, but what do you think the purpose of education? So let me give this is the example I use with my students in high school. You can't see you. All right. So this is the example I use in my high school classes to explain to people the purpose, the objective of education. So let's see if my own kids, how old are you? 8? 10? I can't talk up. 13. All right, so let's say that we are the first people on earth, okay? So we're gonna use this example to figure out the purpose of education. So we're the first people on earth, okay? What do we need so that we don't die? Food and water. Perfect. Now, yes. Now you know the purpose of education. What is it? Survival. He remembers. So if we are the first people on earth, we need food and water, right? We need education so that we can do what then? Right, but if we need food and water, how would education help us with that so we can survive?
Teach us how to get food and water.
How to get food and water.
Oh, what's the purpose of food and water?
Now, that's what I was going to get to. Why would we need to know the purpose of the food that's there?
So we don't die.
Yes, because we could eat something that would
Kill us.
We could eat something that would kill us. So now we know that education is for survival, right? And we're not in the plains of Africa, right? We are in a modern society. So when I say survival, does that still hold true? Is it true that we still need to survive even though we don't live in the savannah or the plains and we live in cities? Yes. Do we still need to know how to survive? Yes. I was trying to explain to my kids, I've been trying to explain to them that we need a different type of education, because the type of education we have now doesn't consider the fact that we still need to survive. Like, I'll give you an example. Do any of y'all know some of the leading causes of death for black people? Diabetes. What about you? Lack of water? No, but that's a good guess. That's a good guess, but no. So we got diabetes. So that's good. Cancer. Good job. But do they talk about this in school? What? Okay, so this goes into education and survival. What happens when a group of people, like black people, do not know the leading causes of death for their people? They'll keep dying. What needs to occur then so that we can try to change this dynamic?
Figure out why.
And how does any group of people start to figure out why their people are dying from whatever it is that's causing them to die?
They start talking to each other.
They start talking to each other. So we got talking as one. What else? What else you think? Think about where people go when they are sick or injured. Oh, they go to the hospital. But it's one thing they typically don't talk about that is connected to the survival part. Now, when you're injured and sick, those positions we named take care of those people and try to fix whatever ailment they have, right? How do they know how to figure out what ailment it is and what procedure to use to fix the ailment? Where? There we go. They study them where? Marcus, where do they study ailments and diseases and how to fix injuries and how to do surgery? Where do they learn it? Say it. Say it louder. Yes. What'd you say where? Right, because in college, that's where they do research. And medical institutions have research institutions. They have people in hospitals that are doing research. So now, let's go back to my original question. If black people want to survive, what do you think they're gonna have to do? Research. But like you said, first they gotta understand, they gotta know what we're dying of. Talk about it and figure out what type of research needs to be done to fix these issues. The reason I brought up causes of death and education and capitalism is so that people can understand that it's not profitable for a company to start a business and make money purely off of research. That's why the majority of research, medical research, is funded by the government, because many times your research doesn't turn into a product or service that can be bought or sold, which is why it's hard for poor communities like blacks and Hispanics to quickly create something that would allow them to do the large amount of research required to figure out why they are dying at the rates they are dying from certain diseases and ailments. Capitalism doesn't allow for that. That's why rich people are able to manipulate the system and get funding for the research that they want to do. Do you remember what capitalism is? What's capitalism? Come on. Talk.
It's
America's
ecosystem.
No, not eco. It's our economic system. Do you remember talking about this? Yes? And do you remember what capitalism allows people in a society to do? Yes, to own their own businesses. Remember, private individuals can own businesses under capitalism, right? And it benefits those people that have capital business. So in capitalism, you need capital and the ability to make profit. So capitalism is profit driven. Do you understand when I say that?
Yes.
Profit driven, meaning everything you do depends on how much profit that you make. But now you're correct. In order to get profit or to run a business, you need
Money.
Which is capital. How does this affect poor people?
They don't have capital.
They don't have capital, right? And money is a form of capital. Because what is capital again? Anything you say it louder.
Anything you own that brings you money.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
let's go back to survival. Why would it be hard for black people to survive in a capitalistic country such as America? Rodney, say it loud.
Could they be poor?
Because they are
poor.
Because they are poor. And how are poor people impacted by capitalism when they're poor? What will happen? Yes. Why would they stay poor? Why would poor people in a capitalist country stay poor? Do you understand why? What do we say we need to make money? What do you need to make money? You need to own what? Use the word we've been using. Say it. Say it loud.
Capital.
You need capital, right? But the reason people are poor is because they do not have
Capital.
They don't have capital, right? Are y'all understanding me?
Yes.